Hello, all you freedom-loving people. Welcome to another episode of Front Page. I'm your host, Scott Cameron Goulet. Because of special counsel John Durham's findings revealed in court documents recently, President Trump has indicted a series of prominent Democrats, beginning with Hillary Clinton. New York City mayor waived vaccine mandates against athletes and actors. The public questions whether people with high incomes are privileged. The CEO of BlackRock believes the war in Ukraine represents the end of globalization. Okay, let's get into it. President Donald Trump filed a lawsuit on March 24th against former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, accusing them of fabricating a Russia plot to rig the 2016 election in order to shake voter confidence in President Trump. The lawsuit was filed in the Southern District of Florida. It alleges that Clinton and her camp endorsed the controversial Steele dossier under the guise of opposition research and data analytics in order to frame President Trump for collusion with the Russian government. The suit reads, in the run-up to the 2016 presidential election, Hillary Clinton and her cohorts orchestrated an unthinkable plot, one that shocks the conscience and is an affront to this nation's democracy. President Trump alleges that the scheme concocted by Clinton and her team falsified evidence, deceived law enforcement, and exploited access to highly sensitive data sources, and was so outrageous, subversive, and incendiary that even the events of Watergate pale in comparison. And even after President Trump was elected, Clinton still used the same excuse to attack the Trump administration. The list of defendants is long and varied, with a total of 28 individuals. It includes Hillary Clinton and the DNC, the chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Clinton campaign chief John Podesta, the law firm Perkins Coie, the research firm Fusion GPS, the former FBI officials Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, and Lisa Page, and also Christopher Steele, who is the ex-British intelligence agent who authored the dossier. According to the court filing, they worked together with a single self-serving purpose to vilify Donald J. Trump. Indeed, their far-reaching conspiracy was designed to cripple Trump's bid for presidency by fabricating a scandal that would be used to trigger an unfounded federal investigation and ignite a media frenzy. Many media outlets not only choose to not report on the findings by John Durham that were filed in the court in February, but they also insist on reuniting their previous lies. The president said in the suit, worse still, the defendants continue to spread their vicious lies to this day as they unabashedly publicize their thoroughly debunked falsehoods in an effort to ensure that he will never be elected again. President Trump alleges that the Democrats violated the Federal Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, among other offenses. He also claimed that he was forced to incur expenses in excess of $24 million. A footnote to the brief refers to the 4 investigations of Trump's 2016 campaign personnel that the Department of Justice, the Attorney General's Office, and the FBI filed under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, as well as the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation. The outcome of the suit will have far-reaching implications for all involved. Biden said at a news conference in Brussels on Thursday that he is not worried about the possibility of President Trump or anyone else becoming president in 2024. Rather, it would be a good thing if he ran for president to run against President Trump again. But he didn't mention President Trump's name specifically. As Biden presented U.S. policy on supporting Ukraine in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, one reporter asked if he and NATO would take steps to ensure that the policies they are currently rolling out remain in effect after the change in U.S. presidency. Biden said, the next election, I'd be very fortunate if I had the same man running against me. But Biden really can't think so far ahead. At present, he has to worry about whether the Democrats can keep the majority in the House and Senate in the midterm elections. He said, we're a long way off in elections, a long way off. And then he added, "My focus of any election is on making sure that we retain the House and the United States Senate." President Donald Trump has not yet announced whether he will run again. However, he has not denied the possibility, and in fact, he has been hinting that he will not give up. And in recent months, he has been holding rallies in different states. Before we move on to the latest controversial vaccine exemption in the United States and the repercussions of an end to economic globalization, I want to tell you about our sponsor for this episode. Inflation is really getting up there, and interest rates are moving higher as well. I'm sure this is making you think about your hard-earned savings. Well, I've got people you can call at American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts against inflation by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside of your IRA or 401k. They make it easy. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and with thousands of satisfied clients. And if you call them right now, they will give you up to $1,500 of free silver or a free safe on your first qualifying order. So don't wait. Call them now. Call 866-927-2180. That's 866-927-2180, or text the word Scott to 65532. Again, that's 866-927-2180, or text SCOTT to 65532. Okay, let's get back into it. New York's mayor waived the private sector COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all performers and athletes, but he continues to force all other workers to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Mayor Eric Adams announced the waiver on March 24th at Citi Field ahead of the New York Mets opening day. His predecessor, Bill de Blasio, implemented a series of COVID-related vaccine mandates in 2021, including a private sector COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Out-of-town athletes and performers are exempt, but not those who play for New York teams. Adams said he wanted to change that requirement when he took office on January 1st, but health advisors told him to wait until COVID-19 cases were at a lower level. He believes that New York is now a low-risk environment, but he did not cite any studies or real-world data to support the change. He has said that vaccines offered little protection against infection after the emergence of the Omicron variant. He said that he wants to put New York City performers on a level playing field. Brooklyn Mets guard Kyrie Irving was unable to play in a home game this season because he refused to get the COVID-19 vaccine. With the shift in policy, that has all changed. During the briefing, Yankees president Randy Levine praised Adams for lifting the mandate, calling it a courageous decision. Chloe Smith, the event manager for the King's Theatre, said the expanded exemption will benefit the theater and its employees. All workers who are not considered performers or athletes must continue to provide proof of COVID-19 vaccination to their employers to keep their jobs. A separate rule requires city workers to prove they have been vaccinated also remains in effect. Harry Nespoli, president of the Uniformed Sanctuary Men Association and chair of the Municipal Labor Committee, told the Epoch Times, "This makes absolutely no sense to me." Nespoli called on Adams and his administration to work at rehiring all the workers who lost their jobs as a result of the mandate. Nespoli said, "I have no problem as far as these people playing ball, but you can't forget about the city workers, the average Joe that goes to work every single day, that gets on the train or drives into the city to do their job that they were doing for like 15 years, 11 years, 12 years, and then terminated because of the shot." New York has fired about 1,400 workers because they refused to get vaccinated, including about 125 from the sanitation union. However, Adams said the city will not rehire the fired workers at this time. Instead, he praised de Blasio's vaccine mandate. Lawyers are receiving calls from citizens who want to sue New York City Mayor Eric Adams and the city because they lost their jobs for not being vaccinated. FDNY firefighter Sophie Medina told the New York Post that she was outraged by Adams' double standard. She said, "How would anyone feel when they are told something is being done for public safety and health, and then you can clearly see that people are getting exemptions not based on their religion, not based on their belief system, and not based on science?" City Council Speaker Adrian Adams, who is also a Democrat, said this exemption sends the wrong message that higher paid workers and celebrities are being valued as more important than our devoted civil servants, which I reject. Lou Turco, president of the Lieutenants Benevolent Association, told the Post that it was hypocritical of the mayor to allow an athlete to not get vaccinated while still mandating officers to get vaccinated to keep their jobs. People are also talking on social media, arguing that such a rule is unfair to those who lost their jobs due to the vaccine mandate. The conflict in Ukraine has global implications far beyond the usual geographical wars. Economic sanctions against Russia are essentially cutting off financial and commercial ties with Moscow. In a March 24th letter to shareholders, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset management firm, wrote, "Russia's invasion of Ukraine put an end to the globalization we have experienced for the past 3 decades. Western sanctions have targeted Russian banks and wealthy oligarchs, as well as closing airspace to Russian aircraft and banning exports of key technologies. Capital markets, financial institutions, and companies, on the other hand, went beyond government-imposed sanctions and moved quickly to end long-standing business and investment relationships. The fear of being sanctioned by association was apparent. Such a result also separates Russia from the global economy. Fink predicts that Russia's exclusion from the global economy will prompt governments and companies to reassess their manufacturing and assembly footprint and reconsider their dependence on other countries." Fink wrote, "This may lead companies to onshore or nearshore more of their operations, resulting in a faster pullback from some countries." Although Fink did not name the countries he withdrew from, he did say that Mexico, Brazil, the United States, or manufacturing centers in Southeast Asia would benefit. The Financial Times reported that Southeast Asia could take China's place. Moreover, as we talked about yesterday, Russia is asking non-friendly countries to pay for oil and gas from Russia in rubles, which could also affect the financial position of the United States. From these perspectives, this war could further polarize the world into globalized and non-globalized. Fink also warned that a massive repositioning of the supply chain would lead to inflation. He added, while corporate and consumer balance sheets are strong today, giving them more cushion to ride out these difficulties, a massive repositioning of the supply chain will be inherently inflationary. Fink said that central banks find themselves in a challenging time when they must choose whether to tolerate higher inflation or slow economic activity and employment to quickly reduce it. The Federal Reserve last week raised interest rates for the first time since 2018, and Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said on Monday that the U.S. Central Bank must move expeditiously to raise rates and possibly more aggressively to keep an upward price spiral from becoming entrenched. As of March 18th, Russia's annual inflation rate accelerated to 14.5%, the fastest pace since 2015, the economy ministry said on Wednesday. It was a blow to the ruble amid Western sanctions that sent prices soaring. The economic outlook is uncertain with the war and supply chain disruptions. We are entering uncharted waters here. Next, I want to take a moment to thank you